Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rachakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to Joachim out there who are pushing his word with truth and sincerity, and as well as to you believers out there who believe in on the gospel. And there's a couple of brothers from the Great Millstone Houston camp. I'm the brother Korah Abad. And as always, we got the beloved brother Tazapah as well. And the water Yahweh Bashim Shah for blessing us with another opportunity, and allowing us to come bring forth this news, this information, and as we always say, prophecy. Which the most important thing in these end times that we in. And speaking of the end times, is a prophecy that was said that had to be fulfilled before our Lord could come back. And we seeing this very prophecy play out, amongst other things, which this same person who gonna be exposed tonight, he the cause for everything else happening across the world. But now the Lord allowing this man to finally be called out here in the end. And again, that prophecy is that the wicked had to be revealed before Yahweh Shai could come back. And that's some. So that's what we want to touch on today. A part of that, and how he gonna bring forth this digital system. But before we hop into it, Elder Tazapah, there's a lot going on. But if you have anything, the floor is yours.
Nah, brother, let's get right to it.
We can hop into it. So some of these first articles we might read a little bit, or we might just kind of skim through them. But the point is that we have been living in a world to where the so-called white man have painted himself that he's an angel, he's a god, where everybody else is filth, everybody else the problem of the world, right? And really that's been his excuse for white supremacy, for murder, for taking over lands, is that his way is the best way in his mind. And he made the whole world think that the Heavenly Father is a white man like him, right? He have the whole world thinking that that you have to be like him in order to succeed and or be accepted. But now we finding out that this whole time it was all fake. It was all fake this whole time. This man been a problem of the earth. And in the last time at the end of his empire, his kingdom, his rulership on earth, all nations had a time to rule. This is so-called white man, the Edomites, their time to rule, and we at the end of it. And at the end, the Lord is exposing this man. Going to the title, and Shalom Tala Akim, Akwa that's tuning in. Yahweh Shemel Shabrak Thumb. But going to the title, it says Thursday Live, Esau is exposed, and Esau is the so-called white man, woman, and child, the nation of Edom, according to their biblical nationality. It says Esau exposed and a push toward digital currency. So we're gonna hop into that. But matter of fact, I'm gonna hold this on deck.
You want to bring out Second Thessalonians?
Yeah, that's what I was about to get.
Yeah, I'll read it.
You got it.
This is Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shemashach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Mashiach is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means.
It's like
go ahead.
Not Salakia, I ain't gonna cut you off. If I may add though, because again, if I could say this, people think when we on the highways and hedges are doing these videos, they like to focus on that we call out the so-called white man so much, right? They like to focus on that we, what y'all got to hate for the white man, he can't make it into heaven, stuff like that. Not knowing that us calling out, and it's not about being white. We're talking about the nation of Edom, right? The nation of Edom, who just happen to have reddish skin today, pale skin, is biblical prophecy that this man had to be called out at the end. And we reading right here that the day of the Lord can't come. Yahushua can't come until this happened. Because he got to come take down the nation of Edom according to prophecy, right? And before that happened, this man got to be exposed. That's what we're reading right here. It says, verse 2, as that day of Mashiach is at hand. And when we go into verse 3, it says, and it can't happen except the man of sin be revealed, man. That's what's happening. It ain't just about calling a so-called white man out because we mad. No, it's Bible prophecy. That's what's going on. Salaki Elder Tazapah. You got it. Salaki.
Yeah, Brother Khan. So this is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
So the man of sin had to be revealed before the Lord could come back. And that's why we seeing in the last days things, and it's small, it's just the media making a big deal of it, and they using it, to do things behind the scenes and to get the people going, but talking about the Epstein files. It's so many other things the Lord using to expose Esau. He put Trump in place to more so show Esau pride in the earth. But now we see it, and now people going into the history and see this man got a record of wickedness, a trail of wickedness, and he's still doing it today. Just recently, what it was, Venezuela. Look what happened over there. Look what happened over there in, as they would call it, the Middle East. Libya and all these different nations. Esau always been a problem. Now, in the end, before the Lord judges, man, before Cain finally be touched, he getting exposed, man. You about to say something other times, Pa?
No, but I will say this. Okay, remember, because you mentioned Venezuela, certain stuff come to me. And what did Trump say? Because he gave certain other countries warnings too, right? Who were some of those countries? One for sure was Colombia, and another for sure was Mexico.
Yep, Mexico. Yeah, somebody else in. Let me look it up real quick.
And what just happened over the weekend? They claimed that the cartels took over the airport, shut Mexico down, and set half of Mexico on blaze. And then they come out that a lot of that was just made up in AI. And so, as it stands right now, I really don't know what's going on with that situation. But with Trump saying that, and there's reports that the CIA was behind this. And if you look at the what is it, Jalisco Nueva de Generacion, if you look at them, they are paramilitary. So this is all CIA, and you probably see Trump go into Mexico. And this is me speaking as a man, but he already said it. So that was probably a psyop done by the CIA for them to send whether to go into Mexico. That woman that's I forget what's her title, but she's a small hat. No, yeah, I believe she's a small. Look, don't quote me on that. I believe she is. But yeah, it's interesting times. But yeah, you got it right.
Yeah, that makes sense. But it was to back you up, Elder Tazapah was he threatened Colombia, Mexico, and the other one was Cuba after Venezuela.
And Cuba, yeah, they was in my head. I forgot to mention it. Con.
But I read a little bit more, and we can get to the news. I jumped to verse 8. It says, I'm gonna go to 6. It says, and now ye know, 2 Thessalonians 2 and 6, and now ye know what withholdeth, that he, again, the wicked, before the Lord come, that he might be revealed in his time. And we skipped over it, but it said this man was going to think he the most high. Look at what you've all know Harari saying. No other nation on earth saying the God of the Bible, we better than him because we can make rain. You see? There's Esau coming like that. But it says, and now you know what withhold of that he might be revealed in his time. It's a certain time. It says, for the mystery of iniquity do have already worked, and it's been a mystery this whole time. Everybody looked up to the white man in the world, wanted to be like him and successful and do this and do that. But he was the wicked the whole time, just dressed up as a upstanding citizen, man. That's Isaiah 32. If a brother want to put that in the chat, Baba Kashah, Isaiah 32, and I think it's maybe like 4, 5, 6. How the liberal person shall no more be looked at as liberal, but now we know you're a churl, and you know more, so on and so forth.
Yep,
But the
yep.
world see Esau for who he is, not just us as so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, but all nations do, even so-called white people. They tied up what Esau doing, right? And it says, and then shall that wicked be revealed. And we'll touch on some things showing the Lord is revealing this man in the last days. It says, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth. So we got to talk about it. And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power, signs, and lying wonders. So when we say the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? 2 Thessalonians 2:9 say that. Even him, the so-called white man whose coming is after the working of Satan, the devil. But you got anything else to tell us, Pop, before we hop into it?
Oh, you want to bring that out? Or you?
What's that?
Oh, that verse you just quoted.
If you want to, that's cool.
Okay. Yeah, I'll read it right quick.
That's cool. Let's get it.
Yeah, this 2 Thessalonians. Let me see here.
Wait,
oh yeah,
you said 2 Thessalonians?
Yeah, verse 9. Yeah, I'm gonna start at verse 7. Yeah, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now let it will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. Right? And that mystery of iniquity is Esau, Edom. Right? And so we're in this kingdom. He's at work. All right. This is they're working to build this one world order, this one world cyber order, digital order. All right. They at work trying to build it, trying to heap unto them all people. But the Lord is going to upset them. All right. And that's why I say only he who now let it will let. The Most High been allowing this man to do what he's doing.
That's right.
But his time is coming up. All right. His time is about up. All right. And that's what the brother's going into, and that's spiritual for these times, with that, this topic. All right. Esau being revealed. Because that means that his time is up. All right. Yeah, what they're saying they got in the world, the greatest trick that the devil ever played was, convincing the world that he didn't exist. Well, that's Esau. He's the devil that convinced the world that he's not the devil, that the devil doesn't exist. But now the world is saying, wait a minute. Not only is there a devil, but that's him. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, this truth. And the prophets, all right? The prophets speaking truth is going to consume. That's how you destroy a devil. When you go into the etymon of devil, you go back to the Greek diablos, which means deceiver. So how do you destroy a deceiver? Truth. You consume deception with truth. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You got it out. You got
I
it.
got a precept for you to back up what you just said.
On.
This second Esdras chapter 6 and verse, I'm gonna start at 27. Second Esdras 6 and 27. It says, "For evil shall be put out, and deceit shall be quenched. As for faith, it
Mm,
shall flourish, and
mm.
corruption shall be overcome." And this is exactly what you just said. It says, "As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared." You got it if you want to speak on it.
Which which spells his end. Because I mean, his purpose is to operate in deception, in darkness. That's who he is. He's the children of the dark. I did a lesson on that. We are the children of the light. All right. It's time for the light. It's our time.
Mhm.
So yeah, he's being consumed. But back to what I was saying, that spiritual with you going into that, because yeah, he's on blast, and we got this pompous, proud, you know, commander in chief here in Babylon, the commander in chief of Babylon, Trump, and he's the epitome of Esau. In his prime, he's trying to project that. All right, that Edomite in his prime, doing what he wants, saying what he wants, going where he want to go, projecting that image to these lower class, low level Edomites, and a lot of them feeding into it, and that's good. And they should be. They really should be out here. Let me read this right quick.
Bring it
They really
out.
should be out here in the spirit of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. I'm gonna hit verse 1, and I might jump down for sake of time. This is Wisdom of Solomon 2 and 1. For the ungodly said, reasoning within them or with themselves. All right. So I just want to establish who this is that we are talking about. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious. That's why they getting the AI and the gene splicing and all of this, because they trying to they they know their time is short, and they trying to circumvent certain things. So it says, our life is short and tedious, and in death or in the death of a man, there is no remedy. Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. All right. Now I'm going to jump down just to show you where Esau should be living it up. And this is verse 6. And it says, come on, therefore, let us enjoy the good things that are present, and let us speedily use the creatures, like as in you. Let us over let us fill ourselves with costly wine and ointments, and let no flower of the spring pass us by. Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness, because their blessing was what? The fatness of the earth. When you go into the word voluptuous, it means thick, healthy, fat, it's plump, juicy. All right. So that was their blessing. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place, for this is our portion, and our lot is this. And I just wanted to bring that out. So you got a lot of Edomites missing out on their lot. They need to be in that Trump spirit and be out here boat garden, because this is it. When the Lord come back, they gonna be perpetual slaves. This is it. But see, the ones at the top ain't telling them that this is it. This is our last hurrah. They just letting them go out like that, and that's a devil for you. He don't even help his fellow devils, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to go into that, because what did Psalm 17 say? King David was praying for the Lord to protect him from the men of this world, from men which is are the Most High sword. And King David said, which have their portion in this life. That's Esau, Edom. All right. Let none of us go without his part of our voluptuousness. All right. So he was granted that. He enjoyed that. Now his time is up. But go ahead.
That's right, man. Esau being exposed. So it was good that you had said that about how you someone like how you been hiding in the shadows and doing things
Oh,
behind the
yeah, in the
scenes.
shadows. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Come on, brother. Go ahead.
And check this out, stuff like this Esau been doing, and people just finding it. Like, see, man, Elder Tazapah, you said something, and it's gonna always stick with me. But you said how um we in a live exercise. Would you say we're in a live exercise, like a live
Mm-hmm.
experiment? Like, the things that we, went through, because we the first to experience certain things like having a phone every day, right? And just radiation. Like, we don't know exactly what's gonna be the effects of that until like down the road. You know how
Yep.
now you see, now we can make jokes off them videos when we was kids. How they used to have sick people, and at the end they hurt and say like the side effects all fast, they all fast and had the side effects written small. But now you
Right.
see today those same companies being
Right.
sued. They being sued because years ago they was giving that to people. Now we see the effects of it now. The point
Mm.
is stuff like food, drinks, phones. We all these people in this current age is really kind of like the live guinea pig. We was the first to go through this stuff. Having a phone, and now we starting to see the effects of certain things. But this whole time that was part of Esau plan. Just going to show how this man a devil. He the
Uh,
devil. This from
Devil.
naturalnews.com, and this was put out today. Yep, hot off the presses. This was put out today. It says declassified CIA blueprint reveals decades long plan to create assassins and poison food, beverages, and VACCINES, right? To create anxiety and depression for population control. It says, what if the very substances, and I will read in all this in the description box. I'm gonna just read a little bit. It says, what if the very substances you consume to nourish your body, to quench your thirst, and to protect your health were designed not to help you, but to control you and your bloodline? What if the creeping anxiety, the unexplained depression, and the sudden outburst? Elder Yashawamba went into a lesson about how the world is languishing. And we know that's a part of prophecy, how it says the world was going to languish. And I think that's in what? Isaiah, going into these last times. It could be certain things like this that the Lord used Esau to put in food for certain, depressions to kick in. Because all the things done by the Lord, Esau, the Lord allowed him to do all this. But these things is used to get people psyche going, people bugging out. MK Ultra, let's go set it in this article that Esau was doing this before MK Ultra. So how much more now in all the things Esau put out there? Now you got they sell weed in gas stations. They sell it in gas stations, right?
Mm.
Esau made a way to create things, put chemicals in it, and people actually going out there and indulging in everything that he making in this current age. And it's all he gonna use it all to control people, not just control, but to get your mood going, to get your mind messed up. And it's right here. You want to say some other types of pop?
No, I'm just listening, but they talking about anxiety and depression, and what's the main source? And you just uh spoke on it. You really just spoke on it. What's the main source of depression and anxiety? I'm gonna ask you that, but you just mentioned it.
Shit, I
These
don't even.
phones, the
Oh,
phone.
okay, con.
But you was talking about, us being in a case study.
Mm.
You know, yeah, in this live case study. And it's a lot of things that, right, like I was even saying a week ago, a week or two ago, right, we don't, man, These phones so much more than what were told. Because like I said, you have your phone. Well, it's all of us now. We've had our phones for so long. It's an extension of our personality. What's in it, what you download, what you look at, what you study. It's like every brother's phone is gonna have a blue letter on it, a Bible hub. I know a brother's phone. If I was to just pick up a phone out in the world, I know this is a brother phone. What brother?
Yeah,
And then some people have their name in their phone. I don't put mom in my phone. I don't know why people do that. People you lose your phone and people got now they know your mama phone number and shit. But right, it's an extension of your personality. And it's crazy, because you know, and it's causing this anxiety and depression. Esau know it, and he put these articles out there like that because the phone takes you away from where you are. It takes you out of live space. It puts you in digital. Because now you into what's on the screen instead of, which is okay, but you got to balance it. And this is for overall health for, people. You got to get a break from these devices. But what I'm saying, where was I going with these devices? You got to take a break from them because when you talk about being in the here and what's going on now, that's the only way you can be centered is be in the now. But you get in these phones, they put you here, there, everywhere else. You're in cyberspace and you're not in your space. And the more time you spend outside of who you are and what you're supposed to see, we have purpose, and that purpose grounds us as the men of the Lord. We're grounded in our purpose. But when you're not grounded and you in these screens, right, you get depressed and you get anxious. You understand? You gotta and if you don't have you gotta have something to do. And we wasn't put here to make the Edomites rich. As for one time we were, but that's not our sole purpose now. We was given grace to preach this gospel as Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. And that gets you out of a lot of this shit that Esau, these snares that Esau have out here for us to get ensnared into, coming to your purpose as a Hebrew Israelite. Because all these Edomites on their purpose, they all being the goddamn devil. So why you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans ain't on your purpose? Because get this, I saw this on the short, and I thought about it, and it's true. Depression is when you focused on the past. Anxiety is you focused on the future. When you focus on that, and this is having your eye single when you want to go into the scripture. When you are focused on where you are, what you're supposed to be doing, and you're doing that, you don't have anxiety or depression. You body, like Master P say.
You got it.
I guess body could be a state of being because we supposed to be body. But go ahead,
Kind of got a real quick one. I got a real quick one. This because the Lord told Esdras in the end times, this the mindset, and it's to let go of certain things like anxiety and human worry.
Yep.
Real quick, Second Esdras 14 and verse 13 in the GNT, it says, "So set your house in order, warn your people, and comfort those who are humble, and teach those who are wise. Then say goodbye to this mortal life Put earthly cares away from you, throw down your human burdens, and lay aside your weak human nature, and put all anxieties aside and get ready to leave
Mm,
this world quickly. It says you have seen many evil things already before worse things are about to happen. So the Lord
mhm.
did tell us put these worldly emotions away, because again, that's a good point. Depressed,
Wow.
what you say about the past, and anxious about anxiety because of the future. These people don't know what's about to happen, and even now you see everybody. Oh, I wish it was 2006 again. Oh, I wish it was the 90s again. Right? They
And they get
wish.
and you get depressed. You're right.
Mhm.
And then you depressed.
Yep. And then
Yeah.
then they back door and they think about the future, like, man, like the scripture said, it's dark outside that window. And then they get all nervous and all. They're hopeless.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
Esau got these people even by the thing. So they got the phone and the food they consume. Let me read this real quick so we can move on. But
No,
this
come
goes
on
into
with
how
it.
the so-called white man is the devil, man. And
Come on with it.
he's been
We supposed to
exposed.
have this. We supposed to have this devil act. Come
Mm-hmm.
on with it. Shit.
Straight up, it says, what if the very substances you consume to nourish your body, to quench your thirst, and to protect your health were designed not to help you, but to control you and your bloodline? And that's another thing. I'm gonna say this real quick. We'll continue. Why all of a sudden these children being born and having autism and stuff like that?
Mhm.
All of a sudden, come on, man. It says, what if the creeping anxiety, the unexplained depression, and the sudden outburst of violence plaguing our society are not mere accidents of modern life, but the intended outcomes of a sinister, right? Satan, the devil that the Bible speak of, decades old intelligence program. A declassified CIA document from the darkest days of the Cold War does more than hint at this possibility. It provides a chilling blueprint for how intelligence agencies plotted to weaponize everyday life, proposing the covert addition of behavioral altering chemicals into the American food supply. So like it, that other day, me and Shema, we went into the store. I think it was me and that brother. Went into the store, and on the counter they had, how like the YNs today and rappers, they talk about Percocets and Perkies and they had that at the store, like so you could buy
Damn.
it. And me and him looked at each other. We laughed. We laughed. Was like
Damn.
because the point is, you can have people that buy it, but man, come on, man. If Esau go find a way to make money, it's some chemicals and some BS in there. Anyway, so like I just had to see that. That was funny
Damn.
though. It had on the front of the pack perks. It says into the American food supply. It says common beverages and even routine medical procedures like the juices, right? The V word. It says for generations, the most powerful agencies of the US government have viewed the American people not as citizens to protect, but as subjects to manipulate, test, and
Mm.
reprogram. Now, I'm gonna just read the key points of this article and we can move on. It says, so in the article, it says, a 1952 CIA project or artichoke, right? That's what it's called, Project Artichoke. Now, if they've been doing this since 1952, I'm sure way before, what you think they doing now, man? That's why you got things like perks in a gas station. It says a
Mm.
1952 CIA Project Artichoke memo explicitly proposed developing chemicals to be hidden in food, water, Coca-Cola, beer, and juices to alter human behavior. It says the goal was to create substances that could induce either agitation, anxiety, nervousness, or depression, lethargy, or helplessness in target populations over long term. And a lot of these things you see in Jake neighborhoods. It says this research, which involved non-consensual human testing, check this out, was a direct precursor to the infamous MK Ultra program and involved collaboration with the U.S. Army Chemical Warfare Service. This is before MK Ultra. Look how far MK Ultra have come. It says, in contemporary analysts and authors draw direct lines from the Cold War experiment to modern public health controversies, suggesting the operation mindset never disappeared. Obviously, it says the behavioral manipulations go as far as getting subjects to commit assassinations. So a lot of this stuff we may have seen in shootings, man, it probably was on all the stuff Esau had him on. A lot of these
Yeah.
celebrities, it was on Black Mirror. It was the episode with Miley Cyrus. And it was pointing out how these celebrities, they get pills, they get drugged daily. You know, they gotta take pills, they gotta take all these different substances
Mm,
so they can be controlled. Being told what
mm,
to do, you can go to this interview and we need you to do this, put on this outfit, go show your ass on Salakia, go show your buttocks on stage here, right? We're gonna have you get into this, and they with it because they drugged up. Go look at that Black Mirror episode. It's maybe season 3, 4, something like that, with Miley Cyrus. Just look at her, Miley Cyrus. She was drugged in the whole situation. But they control people as far as having them commit assassinations, man. And this is
yeah,
the
have
last line. It says, you got it.
remember, did you ever see Manchurian Candidate? It was
I
a
haven't.
one, yeah, it was one from back in the day, and then they did the remake with Denzel. It was about mind control and assassination plots,
Mm.
and getting these unsuspecting people to commit these assassinations. But right, that's a big thing. They've been doing that, like you say. But yeah, you got
Yeah.
it. Go ahead.
God, I'm laughing at Brother Shema. Yeah, we seen Perkins in the gas station.
Yeah,
But
come.
but right. This the and so that's it. You know, it's in the chat. But we see the so-called white man been doing things in the dark, man. We can move on. Another one. And as Esau like to say to Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, mainly to Judah, when they commit a crime, what they'll say all on the comment section, usual suspects, right? What they say, 13. What's the percent? 13% of the population commit 50% of the crime or something like that. Right?
Yeah,
Esau
something
be
like
pushing
that.
that the whole time. You the reason for all crime. You the reason. And the scriptures say you the reason for everything that have happened on earth. And in Revelation 18, it say Babylon mainly. But you have things like this, but Esau always swept things under the rug. But we see a consistent trail of wickedness, and it's always the Edomites, the usual suspects. Worship pastor, End Time Headlines put out 3 days ago, the 23rd. Worship pastor takes his own life after being arrested on sexual abuse charges. Why vocab Malone never talk about this? Why the Christians never? This him, David Rogers. Why they never go into this? We see a trend of these so-called Edomite pastors, right? These youth pastors, who always have crimes of sexual abuse,
Yeah,
and
Boy Scout.
sodomy. Yup, you got it.
No, I was just saying Boy Scouts.
Yep, Boy Scout. You're right. Yeah, Boy Scouts, and there's always some sexual abuse or sodomy, something like that. But it's a trending path of Edomites doing this. Why?
They be
Because they're the
Edomite.
real usual suspects, man.
That's it.
They're the real usual suspects, but they always paint Jake in that picture. Another one, him, another devil. A couple months ago, you had Klaus Schwab resign because he was getting freaky in the office.
Yeah, yeah, we had brought that out. I remember that. I was thinking about that the other day, matter of fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now you
girl
got
said he
another
was
one.
weird. And you can
You
see,
see?
he looked weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, here but it says so put out today, WEF president resigns over Epstein ties. He in there too, right? He nasty too. It says the president and CEO of the World Economic Forum, Borge or Brinde or Brin, announced his resignation from the globalist body this week because he nasty too. You see? All of them, and that's what the world finding out. All these people filthy. You look, you got Bill Gates. He apologizing because he nasty. He nasty. The things he talking about, yeah, it was true about the Russian, escorts and my wife was shooting them. I'm truly sorry. And it pissed me off because you see Jake on social media sites like Shade Room saying, well, he apologized, y'all, but we need to get everybody else. And it's like, you see how easy our people just let these Edomites off the hook? Somebody, I got a quick precept. Somebody got to call these people out in the end, man. These people got to be held up on what they have done. And it's been a worse than the earth. We're going to play a video real quick describing Esau crimes, how you would have thought it was everybody else, the Palestinians, right? Niggas and Mexicans, the cartel. The whole time is him. This
and that's why the
Job.
Epstein files came out for 2 Thessalonians 2 and 3. And then the whole world can see. But no, that you got it.
I got
A
one
lot of
real
people
quick.
wake
This
them up.
Job chapter. That's it. Yeah, we got that video we're gonna play here in a few that elders, apostles and elders been touching on. You got people breaking down Edom and Rothschilds now. But I got this real quick because this is a part of biblical prophecy, man. People think we just mad at the white man. No, it's a part of Bible prophecy. This 21 and verse, I'm gonna start at 28. It says, Job 21 and 28, for ye say, where is the house of the prince? And where are the dwelling places of the wicked? And we know it's a wicked according to the Bible, the Edomites, right? Malachi 1 and 4, it says, and have ye not asked them that go by the way, and do ye not know their tokens, that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction, they shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. So that's a sign to let us know who the Edomites are. They're going to be reserved. Why you think when Esau commit a crime, Esau could commit all these crimes and he'll get probation. And he could do a school shooting and he'll get labeled as crazy and just go sent to a crazy person home. The whole time the only sane one now. And you have a Jake man in his 80s, a homeless man, still a Kit Kat bar out of the gas station, and he get 85 years. Why is it that Esau never get judged? Because they being reserved. These are the sons of Cain. Going back to what the Lord said about Cain, nobody touched Cain. If you do, I'm going to judge you worse, 7 times worse. Nobody touched Cain. Why? Because Cain, his descendants, Esau, and his descendants, the same people, they been reserved for destruction. And we finally at that time to where he being brought up on his charges before that happened. Because that's what it's about to be said. That's what it's about to say next. I'm going to read 30 again. It says that the wicked is reserved to the day of destruction. They shall be brought forth to the day of wrath. This is the point. Verse 31. And who shall declare his way to his face? Who gonna tell him? Who gonna tell Esau about himself? Who gonna call a so-called white man out? Even our people, man, be scared. They say the man. You're like, what you talking about, man? The man. Like, who? Shit. They scared to say the white man, Esau. Even in the movies, what that was, I forget the movie. Oh, Don't Be a Menace to South Central, right? While you drinking your orange juice in the hood. When you had that white dude going around shooting everybody, like he was shooting the main characters in like hood movies. And when they finally seen him, they said, the man. Right? The point is, who is that man? Who is the man? Esau Edom, the so-called white man. Call him out. We in that time. You got to do it at Taza Pop.
No,
I'm getting a little excited. I continue. But even this, is a trend. We see the usual suspects. Because I typed in earlier on Google school shootings, and there's an article I showed that came up. It says showing the face of white supremacy. All these mass shooters been who? Esau, the usual suspects, man. Even at the Taza Part, you brought this one up. The Canada shooter. Look, a trans Edomite. We've been seeing a trend of those lately, right? A rainbow Edomite. That's the same person who so-called shot Charlie Kirk. And then you had another one went rogue the other day.
But he shot up you say usual suspects. He had a list of the shooter in Canada. He had a list of charges and run-ins with the police and stuff like most of them do. Have a criminal history. And it's a video of him, and he just sitting there on the video laughing hysterically. just laughing for like 4-5 minutes, maybe 3-4 minutes, just laughing hysterically. I'm there at the top of his lungs. Yeah, there's something definitely wrong with that dude.
Mhm. Yeah, you had another freakish shooter in Rhode Island. He shot, I think his wife, a rainbow flag shooter. But the point is, the so-called white man is the problem of the earth, man. Let's go ahead and play this video real quick.
So I was wondering for like the past few days, I was like, why?
This from the brother page, GMS dedication, brother in Mississippi. And it says the title is Esau Edom, the wicked is being more revealed in the last days.
So I was wondering for like the past few days, I was like, why is nobody getting so mad about everything that's happening right now? And I have a conclusion. It's the reason why everyone's not so mad right now is because race. Bro, we know everything in their mother. The stereotype, black people are thugs. Mexicans, they are criminals. Middle East, you're terrorists. Asians, you're whatever. Like there's a racial thing behind everything. When it comes to these people who are doing these vicious, horrible, satanic things, they are white. They're white. For so long, our world has seen white people as the number one. They're the perfect race to be born as. Long hair, blue eyes, remember that shit? And now look. Now look. Now look. The reason why y'all not mad is because the race that is doing all these vicious things, you can't see them as other than perfect. They are not perfect. These are the people that are doing the most vicious shit. If another race did this, everyone would be angry. Do all this racist shit. But now, yo, they worse than every other race right now. They worse than the gangs, they worse than the criminals, they worse than the terrorists, they're worse, they're all of them. Like, dude, do you not like realize that right now? Stop seeing their perfection and see their humiliation. Humiliate them, they need to be done, bro. Not all white people, but just these people. These white people. These blancos, bro, come on. These mayonnaise warriors, come on.
Boy, you feel me? Come on, man. You know, you got some on that Tuzzle Pie?
No, you good.
God, I'll play a little bit more of that.
I keep hearing about these white folks keep saying that there's this spaceship on the way. It'll be here about November. It's a bunch of giant black people. So let me give a message to the brothers on the way. Brothers, thank you. My prayer is that you don't wait to start firing. These genetically recessive world enders have poisoned the whole world with PFAS. They have built nuclear plants on fault lines like Daiichi Fukushima plant, spewing 342 tons of nuclide water every day, killing off the whole life stream in our oceans. They dropped the bomb when they dropped atomic bombs and nuclear bombs and didn't have to. Their hoe drops white phosphorus on children and old folks. They starve children and old folks and men and claim that humans don't have a right to eat. So my only wish and prayer is to eliminate him, even if it caused all of us to have to go. I understand how life is recyclable. So go ahead and do what you got to do. And welcome. And thank you.
Come on, man. Everybody feel the same about Esau Edom.
Yeah, they sick of this man.
Mm-hmm.
The scriptures say since I go since thou lovest blood, blood shall pursue thee.
Shall pursue thee.
something to that effect. Yeah, that's coming to fruition. There are people sick of this man, and in all that he's done, he's super arrogant. He's not apologetic for nothing. You know, he going full steam ahead. But yeah, you know what that verse at? I read that one.
Which one again?
I'm not sure. It say that
Bible.
blood is gonna pursue him.
Oh, I think Ezekiel 35. Let me see. Blood shall pursue thee. Yeah, Ezekiel 35 and verse 6. You want me to read it for you?
Man, if you got it, come.
Ezekiel 35 and verse 6. It says, I'm gonna start at 5. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. And therefore, as I live, said Yahweh power, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. And since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee.
Blood is gonna pursue this man. So meaning it ain't gonna be nowhere he gonna go where somebody not gonna want to lay their hands on him. And Isaiah 13 go into that. I forget how it's worded.
That's cool. You said that.
Job said every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And that wicked are those that suffered under him, the sufferers, from the Hebrew word imal. The sufferers are the laborers. But yeah, see, then, and that's now because now our iniquity is at an end. And it said, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred. So it means this is an ongoing hatred. All right. So yeah, we see that now. We see that now. And I mean, we've been seeing it, but it's still going on now because it's perpetual. And it says, yeah, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. And he's doing that now with ice. Well, I don't think, well, we don't know. We don't know. But yeah, ICE was set up to go after you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. So he's still doing that. This is being fulfilled. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. So, right, and so the Lord said, and this is their recompense, that therefore as I live, said the Lord power, I will prepare thee unto blood. And so everything that's going on in the world is the Heavenly Father preparing Esau unto blood, because people are seeing what's going on, and they're developing a hatred for this devil. Well, that's the Heavenly Father preparing him unto blood. So yeah, it's a, and then we're gonna come to that we go into every week, second Ezra 15. Where people are not going to regard their kings or nobles and princes. And they're going to take actions into their own hands. And guess who a lot of the time the target is going to be? It's going to be aimed at a lot of these devils. You know, but yeah, you got it out.
All right, I'll play this last video, and then we'll play that quick video from Mike Adams, and that's pretty much it. But you know, to end off the segment of Esau being exposed, I know you already seen this too. you had the apostles, elders and brothers touching on this video right here. But even in, this the Christian world, they never went into the blue letter, but went into Greek or Hebrew and things like Esau. Who is Esau? Obadiah. Not everybody touching on it. And we to the point that you can't deny it no more, man. You can't deny that the so-called white man is Esau Edom. It's clear as day, But now these things being taught to kids. Say, eat them, boys and girls. Eat them.
Yeah, and with what you just said, like it's out there now. If you want to see it, it's out there that Esau, the white man, is the devil.
God.
It's just if you just flat out refuse to see it, you could deny it, but the evidence is out there, And with me saying that, I'm saying to say, how would you teach a doctrine where the Edomites can be saved? Or some of the Edomites could be saved, and some gonna go into captivity. And then, I mean, we know why. We know why. But just going back to what you said, seeing that this man's kingdom is coming to a close, why would you go way left like that? And I'm saying in the sense of Deacon Hakkad, that he trying to save the nations, particularly Esau. And everything that's unfolding in the world is that Esau is a piece of shit and his time is up. Just like, in Babylon, Belteshazzar, partying, having a good time, and then the hand appeared, and then the writing was on the wall. Well, we're at the time where the writing is on the wall. Why would you do something to, so foolish as to change the doctrine up? More than likely for filthy lucre's sake. And you bring out from time to time, which is beautiful scripture, what fool decides to, to choose the pleasures of a season instead of waiting for your glory eternal? And we at the end of this season. I could see at the beginning, I wouldn't do it, but I could rationalize. I could make it make sense. But we at the end of this season. I can't make this make sense. But I mean, outside of it just ain't of the elect. But right, this whole segment, all right, you put together, Esau is being exposed. You got to see it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to see it. So what outside of you just not being the elect would make you say, let me go get a bag and sell out? And we in the year of 2026, the year of the agent, the sellout, and apostasy. And the Apostle Tahart gave it to us early. And are we not seeing that play out? The year of the sellout, the agent, and the apostasy. Apostates. Hirelings. But yeah, it boggles the mind. Go ahead, brother.
That's it. We'll go ahead and play this real quick. Now, this is from a white American man. What is it? It says the biblical rumble room. White American man, Rich Tidwell, a Christian pastor.
Message is Shield of Edom. Everybody say Shield of Edom.
Now this is Edom, boys and girls.
Today's message is Shield of Edom. Everybody say Shield of Edom. Now, this is coming from actually the term Rothschild, and we're going to talk about that today. We've kind of been on a series after the Epstein Files release on Epstein and the end times and the synagogue of Satan. And this is a continuation of that series where we'll be discussing these connections. In fact, if you don't know this, in the Epstein emails, Epstein wrote Peter Thiel, who is the founder of Palantir, the surveillance company that's going to play a major role here in these last days. And he said, as you probably know, I represent the Rothschilds. And that's a very key piece of information, because what that means is there is a hierarchy to this synagogue of Satan and to these group of people who are serving the devil here on earth and creating a vast network, right? How is the Antichrist going to obtain control of such a large portion of the earth? Well, there's a lot of groundwork that has to be done in advance. The surname Rothschild originates from German, meaning red shield. Now, most people know that, okay? Most people realize that the Rothschilds are Ashkenazis, they're German Jews, and that their last name means red shield. They've been around for a long time. They played a major role in the facilitation and founding of the current modern state of Israel, and we're going to talk about that today. But here's the part that people don't know, and we're going to make a lot of connections. So today's sermon is really going to cover not just the Rothschild family, but this long-term connection from Edom all the way to the Antichrist in the last days. And I want you guys to see these key connections. When it's translated into Hebrew, based on its etymological meaning, it corresponds to Magan Edom. Okay, what do I mean by that? The term Rothschild, that family name, means Magan Edom in Hebrew. Now, some people say it means red shield in Hebrew as well. Well, the problem with that is that the word for red and the word for Edom in Hebrew is the exact same word, okay? The exact same word. And so Magan Edom would be translated into English, shield of Edom, or the shield of the Edomites. And so the Rothschild family are the shield of the Edomites.
And it ain't just the Rothschild family, you know. If he, you know, is what he looked like, because again, just because you're a so-called white man or Chinese man, don't mean you of that nation. You might be an Israelite, right? A DNA test ain't gonna show that, give you a biblical nationality, but how you gonna find that out if you believe in this truth, man? This very word of your spirit bear witness with what the prophet said. Right, but the point is that it ain't just the Rothschilds. Is the majority of these so-called white people that we see. Again, we don't know. You know, we got to judge it by the spirit. But the majority of these, especially these Americans, they are Edomites, man. You know, it mainly the higher ups that we talking to, the elites. But you had anything on the Taza Pa?
Nah, you good.
Kind. So we'll end it off on this. We'll just play a couple minutes of this. The push toward digital currency, because when you think about it, Esau, he got one last trick play left. You know, one more trick up his sleeve. You know, and we at the time to where he gonna have to bring certain events to bring forth this digital system, right? And that's what she go explain, and how pretty much Trump back into a wall because Republicans don't trust him now. Right, Democrats don't trust him now, and how to, in other words, the Trump regime gonna need to force something to stay in office. Let's go ahead and play a little bit of it. So we played part one of this last week, but it's a different interview, part two of it though. It says Maria Z, the collapse of MAGA, AI control, and the push toward digital currency, part two.
I want you in part one about, well, I guess you could say the collapse of MAGA and the sense of betrayal that so many Americans feel right now. But in this part of the interview, part two, Maria, I'd like to ask you about the ramifications of what you see coming. Talk to us about, you know, there's a lot of cultural despair right now. You've got a lot of angry leftists who are now screaming, we were right, you know. You've got economic implications that are devastating to many Americans. Advertisers are spending less, job replacements are happening at a record pace, food prices are higher than ever. Where do you think all of this is headed Because it doesn't look good from here.
Well, I want to first of all address the leftists because, and I know that you're of the same opinion, Mike, that the left-right paradigm is absolutely a creation of those in control.
That's right.
To keep us controlled. But the reality is that you do have right ideology and left ideology. These ideologies do exist. There is a distinction. And so what I'm addressing when I say leftist is people that are really far left in their thinking. And that does exist. They want to cut kids' genitals off. They think it's great. They want a lot of vaccines. You know, they used to be against Big Pharma, but now they love it.
Talking about Democrats.
You know, they like socialism. Yeah. So
right.
This ideology really does exist. There are people in society like this. Just look at, you know, the people that support Zoran Mamdani, who I think is also, you know, one of the puppets. But anyway.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah.
Clearly, right? Clearly. But these people, the problem with these people and what I'm finding, Mike, is that I can listen to someone that is, you know, traditionally a far left person, like an Anna Kasparian, for example, and agree with a lot of their points. And what we find, however, is that the far left is really not awake. And some of the far right is not awake as well. So you have them still trusting in this two-party system. The Democrats are saying, well, we're going to come up with our people and we're going to fix this. Well, that's the same promise that was given to the MAGA base guy.
Boom. Now, I want to stop it right here. I'm going to just let it play. And let me know if you got anything on the Tazapa as well.
All right.
But this make me think of Revelation 13 because it says how you was going to have two horns like a lamb that spake as a dragon in this revised Roman Empire, that's your Democratic Party and the Republican Party. Right now, what she going into how now the left, as people call it, but the Democrats, they saying, see, we told y'all, right? We told y'all Trump this and Trump that. We told y'all the files and all this. And now you have the right, the Magites, right? The so-called white Americans, Republicans, they feeling some type of way because Trump ain't coming through on nothing that he said. And he making them look bad. So the point is that you have both parties feeling the same about the government. And what was the next part of that verse? Is two horns like a lamb, but what? But spake as a dragon. Now that the two parties waking up, so to speak, now the government about to show you that he been a dragon the whole time. It don't matter. Elections don't matter no more. We talked about this last week. All that old stuff, the old world stuff don't matter. The legitimate government don't matter no more, man. These people about to force something to mess all what's been set in place up. Stuff like elections up, man.
Yeah, and it's not going to work.
Nothing changed.
No.
It's not going to work and nothing changed. So my message to that group is we may have a lot of ideological differences. I will never agree that we should cut kids' genitals to mutilate them. But I want you to understand, and something that you should understand from these files is that the two-party system is a lie, and that any promises that they make you, they're lying, and history shows us that. And if the left could wake up to that, then maybe we could see a genuine change here, Mike, you know? The problem is they still trust their politicians, and that is a problem. I have the same message for the right, by the way. If you still trust your politicians after this last year, seriously, I want to grab you by the shoulders and scream, wake up, not because I hate
now check this out.
You, but because I genuinely care about you and humanity. So the path forward, Mike, it seems like, you know, I spoke to Ed Dowd recently. It seems like we're in for a really, really rough time with the economy.
I'm going to play it back a little bit because what was his initial question to her? With everything that's happening in the world, everything we seeing, what's the path forward? What you see? So she had that whole spiel right there and said, well, the path forward is this. The two-party system is broken. Everything is happening. This way is going next.
And scream, wake up, not because I hate you, but because I genuinely care about you and humanity. So the path forward, Mike, it seems like, you know, I spoke to Ed Dowd recently. It seems like we're in for a really, really rough time with the economy. You spoke about, you know, the price of food and all of these things. It's not getting better. And I can't see it getting better. And the reason I can't is because Trump keeps saying how great it is, despite the fact that it's getting worse. Right. And, you know, so there's no acknowledgement of the state of affairs. Therefore, it means that they're likely not willing to address it or wanting to address it. What does that actually mean? Is this an orchestrated collapse? I think it always has been because of the Great Reset. They want the current system to collapse so that they can bring in programmable digital currency and digital ID for the beast system.
Yep.
That's a Selah moment right there. You got to do it, Tazabah.
Oh, no. You can go back a little bit.
Yep. That's the whole point of everything we seeing.
So there's no acknowledgement of the state of affairs. Therefore, it means that they're likely not willing to address it or wanting.
Oh, she just said right. The government don't acknowledge what's really going on in state affairs. You know why? You mentioned it. 2nd Ezra 15. They forgetting about the legitimate government. They don't care about that no more. They're just making it look like they still care in office and doing all this for the people. They're moving forward to a digital system.
To address it. What does that actually mean? Is this an orchestrated collapse? I think it always has been because of the Great Reset. They want the current system to collapse so that they can bring in programmable digital currency and digital ID for the beast system. I think that this is the whole point. And I think that this is where things are heading, Mike. You and I have been talking about the importance of, being.
You want to speak on it?
No, she going. I mean, she on point.
Self-sufficient ever since we've met. I think that is now more important than ever. People need to be, to if possible, grow their own food, keep their own animals, know where they're.
And see, we know none of that's gonna happen. I'm gonna jump up a little bit. I think there's another timestamp around here, and then we could pretty much end it after that if you ain't got enough Paul.
The Democrats are just going to destroy everything that we tried to build. And then people are saying, well, yeah, that maybe, but everything we tried to build and we put our time and energy and emotion into was trampled on anyway. MAGA had the perfect opportunity to really take down the deep state. I think it was Sean Ryan who said, this is the deep state handed to you on a silver platter and you're doing nothing with it.
Right.
So what are we supposed to make of that? And people are saying it doesn't matter who you vote for, you get the same thing anyway, because, my whole thing was, guys, the digital ID and Agenda 2030, all of that agenda, the AI nonsense, everything, that is coming in like a freight train. Maybe we can slow it down if we have more protections under the Trump administration. But I've just seen an acceleration of that agenda under the Trump administration.
Well, it accelerated.
What exactly will be so different?
Yep. No, go ahead.
With whatever party.
Right. What's going to be different with whoever get in office? That's what Klaus Schwab said. There's no point of elections no more because we telling y'all what's going to happen.
100%. I want to take this in the direction of AI because there's something really profound that's about to happen.
And Mike will make a good point too. And this pretty much it. We'll play it to like 2 more minutes, 11 minutes. Because he's saying people think with the UBI and stuff like that people just gonna sit on they butts. Like a lot of these women getting government assistance and just live your life while the government paying you. That's not so.
Let me give out your website again. Zmedia.com, folks, is where you can follow Maria Z. She's interviewed Michael Yon and Tina from the Satellite Phone Store. And so many, her yet?
Yes, many times. Okay, she's phenomenal.
She's phenomenal. She's nailing it every single day. I just want to, and Catherine Austin Fitz, have you interviewed her yet?
Yes, many times. Okay, she's phenomenal.
She's phenomenal. She's nailing it every single day. I just want to give her a plug. But anyway, Zmedia.com, and you're also on Rumble. And this interview.
Yeah, we played Catherine Austin Fitz last week.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, she bad.
Here today is sponsored by the Satellite Phone Store here at about AI. And this is where I believe that everybody is wrong about AI because on the machine learning side, and I talk to a lot of high-level machine learning scientists and developers and so on because I'm steeped in that industry. They are all convinced, Maria, that once AI replaces all these jobs, which will happen, that the government's just going to give everybody a UBI. Everybody's going to get free money, and then they'll be able to live out their lives in comfort, just getting, thousands of dollars a month from the government, enough to live, and then they can pursue their own dreams and poetry and sculpture and this and that. I'm like, no, they're not going to let you live, you morons. They're going to exterminate. Do you think the government is going to sit there and just spend $10 trillion a year paying people who don't pay taxes? No, they're going to get rid of you. And Maria, nobody in the AI industry understands the mass extermination that's coming. Nobody. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's like they never saw the Georgia Guidestones before they mysteriously disappeared. I think, Mike, what you have.
You got it.
Did you see Musk talk about they should bring back asylums or something about bringing asylums back?
I ain't see it.
You didn't see that? Yeah, he was a post saying he think that they should bring asylums back, and that's interesting because where are they today? There are no asylums today. What happened to them? But they was set up for the reset.
Mm.
So basically, asylums was when you want to change up a demographic, you kill the adults, right? But you can't at back then you couldn't kill everybody. So the ones they couldn't kill, they deemed them as crazy and put them in. So I put it like this. How they bringing in the system today, this digital system. And if we was to protest it and say, I ain't down with this ain't right, they would deem us as crazy and throw us in a mental asylum. And then they give them access to, your children. So I wonder if that's why he was saying that. But anyway, right, he's right. It's going to be a mass extermination. They've already started. I mean, that's, like I said, where the people are going that's being deported, allegedly, by ICE. And every blue moon, well, not every blue moon, but like every other week or so, you hear about a body floating up in the bayou out here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what it's coming to. Is when you talk about the economic reboot, this dollar collapse that's coming, and then the digital money, the people are the money. The people are the old system. That's why we got Social Security and birth certificates. We are the money. So when they crash the system, they crashing the people. The people got to go in their eyes. I'm not saying what the people got to do, but in their eyes, they got to balance the books. All this hundreds of trillions of debt to balance the books. You get rid of the creditors. But yeah, you got it out.
Now I just putting this up to back you up. This was put out on the 19th. Well, this was on the 18th, but one on the 19th as well, 8 days ago. One was 2 days ago, but it says Elon Musk motions. It says make asylums great again. Elon Musk motions to bring back insane asylums in the US, just to back you up.
Yeah, when people were that was protesting the Federal Reserve and all that, back in the turn of the 20th century, and that's when asylums was real big. Yeah, they was switching it up here in America, like really over in the world. But you had people that was opposed to the new thing that was coming. And what you gonna have now? But right, that's why they said ICE is putting all these detention centers around the U.S. You got that. You got these FEMA detention centers. You got all these new prisons being built up. Why? So they can house the people, and then they can systematically knock you off once they got you, you know, um, incarcerated, basically. Then they can just off you off at will. But however it go, we know the scriptures say they shall cast some of you into prison for 10 days. Right. And it said there's some people, I'm gonna read it, that some people gonna get killed. That's what's coming. I'm gonna read that right quick. This is Revelation chapter 2. chapter 2, verse 10. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil, the same person we've been going into all night. It's not a different, it's the same devil. All right. Esau, Edom, who the man was talking about, the red child. All right. That's what Edom means. Idawam is red. They are the red child. But as the priest Korah Abba said, yeah, it ain't just that family. All right. And it's not a thing strictly of skin color, but it's a bloodline. All right. But it's many families in that bloodline, not just one. So it says the devil shall cast some of you into prison. All right. Right. There's these ICE detention centers, whatever the FEMA got. All right. Whatever else they building, a lot of these empty warehouses that's being built, Walmarts can be outfitted to house and detain people. All right. They're going to be throwing you into prison. All right. The devil shall cast some of you into prison that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. It says, be thou faithful unto death. But this is what's on Esau's mind. All right. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So yeah, they looking to inflict death. And going back to what I read earlier with Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, where I stopped, that's where they going into it. About the 10th verse. It's going into these devils trying you, as I just read. But you got it out.
And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna play a little bit. I'm gonna play it a little bit more, but now that's pretty much it, though. Tazapa.
To issue is a digital currency that is programmed in every industry that are nefarious, and then there's a lot of people that are like good people who believe in this technology and believe that it's going to improve humanity, but don't understand where the powers that be want to take it.
And that's a lot of these camps. When we talk about the MOTB, they say they just think it's buying, selling, and getting in here. No, they want to control you. That's where the powers want to take it.
And you have a compartmentalization in that industry, as you do in every industry. And so what I can say from the documents that I've read, their own documents, they definitely have a plan to issue us with a universal income of some sort. That income that they plan to issue is a digital currency that is programmable, and it is issued based on your behavior.
Yep, 100%.
That is what they say in their own documents. So they will only reward you with cryptocurrencies that are programmable. Again, I remind you, and remember what the World Bank and the IMF and all these figures have said, that they will program it for sure that you can't buy ammunition. Okay.
Right, but I mean that's it. That's where the world going, man. You can't deny Esau Edom exposed his last and only attempt to keep his power is controlling everything, man. That's gonna fail, as I say in Job 20, as he trying to do that, man. But that was pretty much it, Tazapa.
Man, you can close it out.
Well, with that, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. This information was helpful. With that, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory once again unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Chakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and as well as the men that taught them, and peace and blessings to all you walking out there who pushing this word with our truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believe in the gospel. And keep fighting, keep pushing. We're almost out of here, man. The Lord is showing us that we close. And with that, shalom.
Right.
Water for tuning in. Salaki too, I can one better put on precepts, but the water for the beautiful precepts. Shalom.
Yeah, Khan, shalom, shalom.
Khan.